we go. We're on the Hempfest, baby.
I'm not a criminal, and it's like we're doing, a huge community thing by creating an educational and awareness around the cannabis DUIs and keeping our friends and family from smoking in public. We thought we crossed all of our T's and dotted all of our I's. And
Levi Lyon is an entertainment director of Hempfest here in Washington, who is at the head of a lawsuit that threatens to expose the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board as a completely corrupt entity with no true enforcement powers. Mr. Lyon has a documented history of progressive education about responsible marijuana use.
Loose Wheel and J&M Cafe remind you to ride responsibly with Lion Pride Music. No matter where or how you party, designate a driver in advance. Lion Pride.
But today he sits in potential ruin at the hands of the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board after they confiscated his vans because he and his partner were smoking marijuana in a registered RV at a Frisbee party. Undercover agents attended the event, then later showed up with warrants that did not contain any signed affidavit for the vans. In a Zoom interview, Mr. Lyon recalls there being a problem with the warrant in the field that day.
And of course, we're outside in the cold, freezing cold, 30-degree weather for 3 hours. And I'm hearing chatter about they're having troubles getting warrants, but then he comes back and goes, okay, well, we got our warrants all signed. We're taking your rig.
Advocates with Staffney Law Advocacy and Consulting asked for his files, but they have never seen any sworn affidavit supporting the seizure of the vans. Weeks later, Good Samaritan obtained a different signed affidavit that the agency used to obtain electronics from the van, but no one has any proof that Officer Robbie Slattery is in fact a licensed police officer authorized with full authority here in Washington. Did you know that it's also quite debatable as to whether or not they have any authority to do that in the first place because they're not full law enforcement officers?
Yeah, I'm realizing that now, a couple months later, after I'm starting to dig into things and things are starting to kind of, again, come to realization that it's kind of my understanding that these guys aren't even law enforcement, right? There's maybe some of the people on the force might be, but a lot of them are impersonating an.
In fact, there's pending legislation now with a bill that might grant them such authority, but it has not yet been enacted. Meanwhile, the DEA reports that Washington State has led the entire country on civil marijuana forfeitures for the past 2 years, with $25 million being approximately 5 times the take in second-place California. Industry lawyers and legislators in Washington who are advocating for full legalization under a bill have noted such a conundrum that it allows for the disturbing growth of abusive forfeiture laws. Marijuana remains legal to buy and to own and to smoke in private in Washington. Only in private, which is precisely what Mr. Lyon and his crew believe they were doing in their RV that day with fellow Frisbee players. Had they been drinking in the RV, it is a safe bet that the buses would still be in their possession. A hearing is set in Thurston County Superior Court for 9 o'clock a.m. Friday the 13th, where video coverage will be provided. To see an informational video and more information, please visit Mr. Lyon's Facebook page at